You want to drive on the right side of the road, sir?
spent $20.99 on Roblox. You have spent $10.99 out. And then I was going through it. This girl spent £500 on Roblox this morning. It took every penny I had in my account.
Oh my god, I'd be going crazy.
Oh, I did go crazy.
Absolutely.
I threatened to sell her iPads and everything. I was like, hey, your iPad to cash convert. I was like, I'm selling it. I was like, and all the money I get from it is going to me. And she started crying. I was like, oh, don't cry. I'm sorry. I love you. Come here.
You're lucky. I was going to turn around and arrest you until I realised who it was.
I would have arrested him.
Did you just not see me put my lights on my macros and then getting pushed and I realised it was you?
I wouldn't have put him in the jail.
Yeah, I was getting ready to come and do you. What would you done if I arrested you?
Cry to Betty. I cried to Charlotte now. His bestie Charlotte is CFG now, so I cried to her. You're allowed to be arrested anyway. If you're committing a crime off duty, you're allowed to be arrested. Even if you're committing a crime on duty, you're allowed to be arrested. It's just that nobody has the balls to arrest their own officers.
We can't put violations on officers, can we?
We can't, but the higher up, but DFGs and FGs can.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I've just sent that guy a message from the VM and said, I'll let it slide this time. Educate yourself with the rules and I'll remember your name, the Northeast Shooter. If I see you shooting into the green zone again, you will be reported.
Amen. What'd you guys do anyway, Jay?
Say again.
Meal, Jay.
What did you say, sorry?
I was just asking Jay what he was up to anyway.
Oh, sorry.
I was looking for a property. Just making conversation.
He didn't. He was calling me a piggy bastard as he was shooting me.
See? That's crazy.
This guy was literally shooting me in my head. This guy was literally shooting me in the face and like having a go at me, saying, you can't tell me what to do. I was like, I can. You're shooting into a green zone. I said, I've not got a gun out. I didn't even have my taser in my hand. I just put a macros up saying, guns away, guns away. Everyone else did. And he jumped on the wall and started taking shots at me. And then he jumped off when I was saying, run onto the beach bit. Just carried on. I was like, you're going to get a ban. You're going to get a ban. You know, I don't care. I don't care.
I've not experienced that one yet.
I'll take you back there in 6 minutes.
We shouldn't be seeing helper links around anymore because the person who links was deleted the game today out of anger. So I don't know if he's going to be coming back. We'll see.
Where did Alvin go?
I'm more pissed that it happened in my house, to be perfectly honest. Yep. See, with me, right, I have this thing about AFK because some people are AFK like this one over here that just stands there and collects money and then responds when you do the AFK check. And then you've got other people that just fall asleep because they get high or drunk and they just generally fall asleep in game. And it's always the ones that not always, but most of the time it's the ones that just generally fall asleep that get the reprimands, and then other people that are collecting wages don't get the reprimands. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I'm dependent, like it's dependent for me to how far I would take the AFKs. To be fair, there always really is a general, and now we have 100 more generals. We should always have somebody online, to be fair, to cover all the hours. Yeah. I just think with a faction with so little numbers, especially a faction that needs a lot of numbers, we need to really try and keep hold of our members. That's just my perception of it. Like, because the more members we get rid of for small things, the less members we have. Like, people are not like before with interviews and stuff, you'd get quite a few newbies interview nights that actually do pass and join. But lately you're only getting like one or two, and it's going to end up eventually where you have less officers again like before, because they're constantly being punished and constantly being dismissed. Mm. Yeah. Do you know what? The whole time I ran that medical faction, I did not do one radio check, not one. The same as when I was a DCP, never did a radio check. I'm just like, it is a game. It's a game and people need money in this game. It's a very expensive game. And it's kind of like, I get why people do it because it takes hours to actually build your money up. Like, it is a little ridiculous.
See you guys tomorrow. I'm off.
Good night. People.
Night, babe.
Don't let the bad bugs down.
Night, Billy.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's like me the other day. I can't be punished for it because there's no evidence of it and it's gone past the 7 days, so I can say it now. But last week, I was an absolute mess. I was really emotional about something and I was in tears talking in the car to some of the officers. and I fell asleep because I was crying so much, and I was laying here as I'm getting driven around on patrol, and I fell asleep. And if I wasn't as lucky as I was with the people I was with, I would have got a reprimand for that, when it was an accidental thing where I was just so mentally drained that listening to their voices soothed me, and it just made me fall asleep because I was so a certain way. And that's why I'm like sometimes a little bit hesitant with the AFKs, because I'm like, what if this person has just been like highly suicidal like I was the other night, and just like mentally broke down and fell asleep because they were so exhausted, or like they get driven around or something like that. So I try and take into consideration things like that as well, especially when it comes to like kicking people. If it's like their last one as well, for all you know, they could be having something going on in real life and this is their only escape, and then to get kicked out of this could be their final straw that then leads to them doing something silly in real life. And I just don't want to be accountable for any of that. I don't want to ruin people's gameplay just because the AFK. Like, but no, I do get it. Like, if I did a radio check and they didn't reply, then obviously I would deal with it. Or like if they're standing right in front of me, like you are now, and I'm the only person online, and I can clearly see the AFK, obviously I will deal with it. But I'm not gonna go out chasing AFKs. Do you know what I mean? Mm, yeah, they admin only jump in if they're called. They don't like just randomly turn up to people that are AFK, especially if they're in their apartments, because admin are not supposed to go in people's apartments unless they're teleporting them out of there. They're not actually allowed to physically be in your apartment. The same with your businesses. They're not allowed to be inside your businesses unless you have called for them to check somebody. That's the only times that they're allowed to be in there. So only the supervisors that are within the faction, not the actual helpers. None of the helpers can actually read that chat. Only the ones that are inside our faction can read it.
We're defending it.
That's the thing, is because obviously Ian is, you know who Ian is, so he's going to try and protect officers, where Sharp, he's for medics, so he's going to, if it was a medic, then he'd be doing it the same way that Ian would have done it. But yeah. Pardon? Yeah, I know who Sharp is as well. Sharp took me once on a little day on top of a PD roof. It was really cute. It was when I was See, if I was online, I could have told. Well, to be fair, I didn't know he was still there. He said that he was gonna leave. Like he was like, "I'm just gonna finish making my smoke and I'll leave." And I was like, "Okay," because I got called back here by Was it Hunter? Who called me back earlier? One of them called me back in the lobby chat. So I come back with Childwa. Childwa. Is it Dewar or how do I say? Is it Dewar?
Chill.
Chill, baby, chill. No, like you did the right thing anyway. You weren't replying to radio check, blah blah. I was just saying that I just didn't agree with the whole following him about thing. That was the only thing that I was not in agreement with you with. But the AFK checks because they're not replying to radio, I completely understand it. Like it was just the following about thing that kind of that I was like, I do kind of see his perception and his point on that one. But other than that, the rest of your AFK checks that you do is all within the rules. So
So when I give you
the thing is, though, there's no point hiding because PD do the most radio checks than any other faction from what I've established. Because Stacks was saying to me that he was like, we don't do radio checks that often. And I was like, oh, people in this faction do it like every 5 fucking minutes. And the same happens in medics. Well, medics don't really do it either. So it's like you would have thought by now he would have learned that radio checks are done very often. So it's just not worth the risk. Like just log off. See, that's the thing that confuses me with this faction because if you're in army or if you're in medics and you go off duty, you don't need to reply to radio checks. The same as if you're on holiday, you don't reply to radio checks. So I don't understand why in PD, when you go off duty, you have to reply to radio checks still because you're not on duty. So you shouldn't be getting radio checked. No, I get you. Is there anyone else online or is it just us three? Where did Alvin go? Alvin just disappeared. Fuck yeah, I'll do a radio check. You happy now? I finally did one. You can go to Charlotte and be like, she did one, Charlotte. Yeah. No, to be fair, when you have like questions like that, she is a good one. I know you're AFK, Billy. You're just sitting there collecting your wages. You're very lucky we can't do anything about it. Okay, come here, sir. Come down here. Do you know who that is? Because he refuses to talk to me like on mic or refuses to talk around me on mic, but he'll talk to everybody else on mic. But anytime I try and get him to talk on mic, he refuses to. I think that he's somebody that I must know and he must know that I know bad things about him because he refuses to talk to me. Like I asked for his workbook earlier because I was just curious. He refused to give me his workbook. And I turned around and said, I was like, "You're going to refuse my order?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Are you sure?" I went, "Because I'm asking you for a reason." I went, "And if you refuse me again after I ask you, I'm going to tell Betty that you're like ignoring General's orders." Like, I don't want to chuck rank around, but there's something fishy about him and it's really bugging me. And he's done nothing, he's been all night since it's been like it's 2 a.m, so since about 11, since after raids he's not moved from floor 0. He's been there the whole time just standing there collecting his wage. I've asked him to go out and he won't go out. Like, and the fact that he just replied AFK for real just irritated me. He's just irritated me. I had a conversation. He was downstairs and he was typing in the chat and he was like, "I think I'm going to get into trouble." And I said, "Oh, is it about talking to that girl?" And he was like, "Yeah, but she's my friend." And I was like, "Okay, I'm just going to give you some advice as a woman. If you're going to speak to a female, firstly, you check their age." I went, "Because as far as I'm aware, she's not of age." And I went, "And secondly, you don't make certain comments to females unless you know them well enough to tell them things like that, because one person could take it as, oh, he's just giving me a compliment, but another person could take it as, this man's acting creepy." And he just kept laughing in the chat. I found it quite funny, to be honest. He didn't seem to understand that what he did was wrong. So I hope that engagement gets him into trouble because he doesn't seem to care. You can request his body cam. Do you want me? Do you want me to get MK? I can ask MK to ask for his body cam. Is it that? Did he just say that she has a cute voice, basically? Like, was there anything actually RP14 based, or was it just you have a cute voice? Because if it was just you got a cute voice, that's not punishable. And see, this is why minors should not be allowed in the game, Jay. It's just another point of, this is why the game should be 18 plus. Because you've got predators that prey on these young girls. See, that's not enough to be punishable. And because of her age, it's inappropriate because she's a minor. But because the game rules state that you can't prove people's ages, because you know when we get like fucking 11-year-olds come in here and they're like, well, we can't prove they're 11, so we can't tell them to get off the game. It's the same with this situation. Like we can't, because they allow children in this game sometimes. It's very difficult to punish for things like that because you have to prove their ages and all of that crap. But he hasn't said anything that is against the server rules. Yeah, he hasn't broken any rules, to be honest, Jay. Yeah. The only...
I see it one way, but if I'm
Yeah, usually I'm very, when it comes to like the sexual harassment of women, because of something that's happened to me in my past, I'm very on the ball with that. And that to me does not come across as anything punishable. I couldn't see that getting a harassment or an RP14. See, I would have listened to her complain, and then at the end, I would have turned around and go, with all due respect, the App Store says that you have to be over a certain age to download this game. So you have placed yourself in a dangerous situation by playing with adults. Like, and I would have educated her as a mother and being like, you need to like protect yourself. And if you're going to play a game that's full of adults, that is the least offensive thing you're going to hear, and you need to prepare yourself for the things that are going to come out of men's mouth that are much worse. And even if, and you need to make sure that you state your age before they even start conversating with you, so you don't get put in situations. Like, I would have educated her, but just because of her age, I would have just kind of been like, look, if you're playing an adult game, it's kind of expected. As much as that sounds bad, it is expected when you're in an adult game to hear things that may be a bit inappropriate. Yeah, sure. We'll see how that plays out.
screen.
That's why I'm saying, that's why I think he's somebody that we know, because his account, he tried saying that his account is a brand new account, but he knows the server rules far too well for him to be a new player. No new player knows the rules. I'm a fast learner, and it took me about a month and a bit to really understand the rules of this game. Oh,
I mean, I don't.
oh,
I'm
so
not a
you,
big fan.
oh, so you've only been on the game for a month. Oh, so you don't even know, like, oh, fair. Do you know what? That makes more sense now. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. That's probably why quite a few people in here, actually, I need to remember that quite a few people in here don't actually know who I am or who some of us other people are in this game. Nice. I did Gang Life for 13 seasons. And then I was in the top gangs every season. And then I went over to medics. I was a normal medic. And then within the space of a week, I got given the DCP. DCP is DFG, basically. And then after 3 weeks, Barry got sacked from CP and I got given his job. So then I was the leader of the Medical Alliance for a while. And then I got sacked because there is a rule that I did not know existed, that apparently you're not allowed another server for notes and things like that. It's third party server. And I got dismissed over it. And I really complained about it because my first week, so the medic faction has over 300 members. So when they do that rate the leader, right, it could be any random person that gets, compared to here, in here, you're always guaranteed 5s or 4.9s because of the people that are here, basically, and it's the regular people, and it's always going to be the same people that get the rate the leaders here. But over there is very different. And my first week, I got all 5s across the board. Same for my second week. Every single week I was in charge, we had all 5s, not one bad point. I never had a reprimand. I've never had admin jail. I never had a ban, like none of it, nothing. I've never done anything bad. Never stepped out of line one time. And instead of just giving me a warning for it, they dismissed me, and it made no sense. But then Army have 6 servers that they use, and I turned around and said, why is it that I got sacked over a server I didn't even know I wasn't allowed? There's no actual, if you go through all the rules, there's not one rule that says I can't do that. Like, but then, and I said, but Army's allowed 6, so why are you not firing Kanban? And then I got blocked and off the server, and I wasn't allowed to open a ticket going further. And I thought to myself, this is weird. Like, it was a very weird situation. It made no sense to me. I feel like I got unfairly sacked from that role, I'll be honest. I don't agree with that. And then I kicked up a huge fuss. I got muted, everything got banned. I got my jail. Like, I come back off my ban and I was in jail for like 7 hours. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. Because I just crashed out. I went absolutely insane. I really kicked off because I was like, this faction was a fucking mess. Like, we went through 3 CPs. The faction's only been open for a month. And we went through 3 CPs in a month. 3. And then they gave it to me, and it was an absolute shitstorm. And I changed that place within a week. We had new teams. We had a functioning staff. We had no more complaints from gang members about people not getting revived because we were making sure people were going out doing their jobs. And the second I lost that role, the whole place went to shit again. And it really pissed me off that I put all that hard work in just for them to give it over to somebody that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. It really pissed me off. It was such a waste of my time.
Hey Jay, I need to talk to you later, buddy. No, because I'm at work, mate. I've just literally come on quick. I'm literally making a coffee at work. But a bit later, I do want to talk to you. All right? All right, lovely. Right, I'm heading off anyway because I need to go back to work. But yeah, I do want to talk to you later. Yeah.
I'm gonna call you in a minute. I was just finishing my chat with Jay, and then I'm gonna call you.
Yeah, no worries. That's all right. Take time.
I've not called you yesterday. I realised how late it is. I was like, fuck, it's 3 a.m.
You're good. You're good. All right. Anyway, catch you all in a bit.
All right, see you in a bit. Bye. I wonder what he wants to talk to you about now. That's why I said I'm going to call you. I was like, I want to know what he's going to talk to you about because that sounded very, sounded pissed. See? I haven't spoken to him about Abraham, so I don't know how you'd have known about it. But I didn't think he was going to talk to you because I said I'd speak to you about it. So I was like, because I know that it would have been better coming from me than him because my approach is more like giving advice and his approach is more having to go at people. So I was like, I said to him, when Jay's not the type that would be reciprocant to the way that you put it, he'd be more reciprocant to how I put it, just because of like the tones and things like that. Like, so I don't know if it'd be about that. He just sounded really pissed off because randomly, if he wanted to speak to you about that, he would have done that yesterday or whenever it bloody was. So that's right. I'm gonna find out though. I'm curious. You haven't done anything to him, have you? Okay.
Maybe.
Mate, you and Molly had an argument?
Did you know
Maybe. But again, he shouldn't, 'cause it's not his business. That was between us and it was dealt with. Like, it was, yeah, like, it's not fair anyone else can. If he does talk to you about that, Jay, just say, Pixie said that it's been dealt with and that we're fine. No, but he just sounded like he was coming at you. I don't know. No, exactly. I do think he'll be getting moved up to a rank 10 as soon as the next FG takes out. I think he'll be a rank 10 within the next 2-3 weeks. Well, yesterday I spawned in at a certain time when they were all having a conversation with Nina. That's how I knew Charlotte was getting DFG, which is why I started a conversation about the whole other job that she has, because I was just like, you can't allow that to happen when she's still in that role. Like, obviously, like, do you know what it is? Because Charlotte asked MK earlier if I like her, and I was like, I have no issues with Charlotte. I have an issue with the rules being broken, but that's not Charlotte's fault. Charlotte's not the one that placed herself there. The issue that I have is with the higher ups that put her in that position when she's breaking, when it's against the rules for her to be having this role. Like, that's what my problem is. I've got a very big thing about people getting treated fairly when it comes to ranks. And in my opinion, you can't say one person has to be demoted from DFG because of a sanction, but then the other person is allowed it whilst doing another job that clashes with this, plus has a sanction for unfair dismissals. Like, at least MK's sanction was because he reported a helper for gang affiliation, and Nina didn't like that, even though he had all the proof. And I know that for a fact because I was a higher up in medics at the time when this happened. So it's kind of like, it's not really fair. And that's what I have an issue with. It's not Charlotte I have an issue with, it's how she's been given the role is what I have the issue with. It's like that Stephen the other day when he was being rude to Betty, and I was like, hold on. I was like, this man has not been online the whole time I've been in charge of Academy, because I'm constantly checking it. Like, I check the members list about every 20 minutes to 30 minutes to see if any of the ones that never show magically come online, so I can grab them. And he's never once been online. Then he had the audacity to moan about rank up, and I was like, this man is not active, but he wants to come and moan about rank ups. Like, what? No, well, I refuse to rank it. I did say that he shouldn't be ranked. Like, I am doing it fairly in the sense of, like, anyone that is active, I will get their training done. and get them up to SWAT as quickly as I can out of respect, because they are putting the time and effort into being active. The ones that are not being active are the ones that I'm going to slow the progress down, because I'm not going to, like you said, people come on, get their experience bars, and then get ranked up. I'm not stupid. I know who's doing that, and I'm not willing to pass them on their training until I know they've been active. And I have asked Betty about it, and she said that that is something I can do. Like, it's down to my own discretion to whether I approve their rank ups or not at each rank. So if they get to rank 4 and they're not active, I will keep them at rank 4. Like, I'm not going to keep people on low ranks, but I will stop them from ranking when it gets to rank 4, so they can't get into SWAT until they become active. Because I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to get into SWAT and take up spaces when you're not actually going to ever be doing anything with SWAT.
And then he comes.
Yeah, no. To be fair, he did come to raids. He has been coming to the raids. I have noticed that he did come to raids, but then he goes AFK after the raids. Yeah, that's the thing. When you ain't got a badge and you can't use your gun, it is very difficult because you're really bored. Like, when I joined, I was rank 1. I got my medal bar up all the way to rank 5 in the space of like a couple of hours. So I sat there and I went straight up to him. I was like, I am fucking bored. I was like, please, can you rank me up to a rank where I can do something? And they were like, yeah, I do your race training now, Pixie. Because I was like, for me, it was a very difficult transition from medics to here, because when you've come from being in charge of a whole faction and then you come to a faction where you are very limited to the things you can do until you're a certain rank, it was really stressful. And I was like, I'm going to dismiss if I can't. I stood there and I was like, Betty, I'm very close to dismissing because I'm really bored. I was like, I need something to do. I was like, please give me something to do. And then they were like, do you want boot camp? And I was like, I will take anything. Like, just give me a motivation to have to come online, because I can't just keep doing the same thing every day. I need a challenge. I need things to do. That's good. Nice. I'm gonna go quickly. I'm gonna call Marty quick because it's really late. It's 3 a.m. I'll be back on soon. I want. That's insane. Why did it take you a month? Was that when Amy was in charge? Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, blue light training, all you do is drive up to the top of Hollywood and then drive back to the station as fast as you can with your lights on without crashing. It's really easy. It takes like a whole 2 minutes of life. I think Majestic must have been blind. He's seen your driving. I want to go see if Billy's still standing there. Let's go see if he's alive. Now, him, I'm happy to do it. Him, I'm glad to do it if checks on. Gone to hide in a corner. It says 8 p.m. where he is.
He's not too.
Billy, you American? Oh my god, I do. I've just clocked. I need to jump offline. I'll be back in a minute and send a Discord message to Betty. Yeah, I'll let him know. Right, will do. All right, see you in a bit. Bye, Billy.